How's it going? Welcome to Talk the Line with Matt Pinsker. I have a special guest today, Mr. David Sporn, DJ extraordinaire.
What's up, Matt? How you doing, man?
Doing great. Just glad to have you on. So, I'm just going to point out something to the listeners. David here took one look at my headphones once after my guest and grabbed his own. He's a DJ. He knows a lot about headphones. Why did he do that?
So actually, I grabbed.
Am I not good enough for
No,
you?
no, it's not. Oh, what, you pulling out the Jewish guilt already? All right, I know how to play this game. Actually, it's just because it's what I'm used to wearing. It's just like what I'm used to having on my head. So just from wearing the same thing over and over at different shows, when I put something else on, I can feel the difference. So I just, it's what you're used to. How do I describe it? Like if you use your cell phone every day for work, and then someone hands you their cell phone and it's got all of your apps loaded on it, it's still,
or even if it's a better model, you still don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's even, yeah, exactly.
Point.
If you're used to like your Nokia phone and you're used to texting with that Nokia phone, you can do it in your pocket, not even looking. And then someone hands you an iPhone. Well, it's a better phone, but you get it's.
Oh,
I
get it. Something I wouldn't even think about for headphones. I think, do they work? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Well, it's dare I say, one of the tools of my trade. So
your trade as a DJ.
Yeah, something like that.
How did you become a DJ? What do you have your PhD in DJ studies?
Well, there is a PhDJ podcast that
really?
My buddy Mike Walter and Joe Bullen they run. It's interesting. They actually do it via like a web stream, and like one dude's in New Jersey, the other one's in like Charlotte, North Carolina. They make it work. So yeah, I don't exactly. There's no such thing as a PhD for DJs. And it's one of those things you got to put in your 10,000 hours. There's the whole 10,000 hours theory, that 10,000 hours after doing something continuously and continuous of like real legitimate practice, dare you say, you become a master at it. Now, that's 4 hours a day for 10 years.
Only 4 hours a day?
Only 4 hours a day for 10 years. They also say it takes 10 years of hard work to become an overnight success. Or that's 8 hours a day for 5 years. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a 5-year master's program to me.
That does sound pretty good. And how many years are you at right now? How many hours?
I've just surpassed my 10-year mark.
That's at the 10-year mark. But you've been doing it more than 4 hours a day, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are some days where I've spent practicing all day.
Well, you're at, what, 15, 20,000 hours?
I don't even know. But it's also been all different things throughout the world of what I'm doing, whether it be like the actual act of DJing, or if I'm doing like a radio show or setting up equipment. I put in a lot of hours into a lot of different things, but it all comes back to DJing in the end.
What's really cool is DJ, you know the art, the music, how to make things work, the color coordination as well.
Yeah.
You know the speaker systems, how to set things up, so you're a techie engineer as well. You're kind of a jack of all trades in many ways, and of course you're dealing with people, you're a people person. It's kind of an all-in-one position.
Yeah, it's, I always tell people I'm a full-time sociologist, part-time DJ, because with the artistry part of DJing, you got to look at the crowd that's in front of you, figure out what they want to hear and what I want to play at the same time. Laid back Luke taught me, if you don't like what you're playing, the people that you're playing it for aren't going to like it either, even if that's what they want, because if you're not into it, they're not going to be into it. So find that happy medium of what I want to play, and if honestly, if it's not even the right gig for me, shouldn't even be taking the gig to begin with. So find the right thing to play at the right time for the right crowd, the crowd that's in front of me. So you got to play like this mental game. It's like the Eagle said, some dance to remember, some dance to forget. And so I've got to figure all of that out. And then while I figure all of that out, make sure everything's on time, and then have some fun with it, be creative with it in 2 minutes before I get to the next song.
Dang.
So, it's a lot of things changing at the same time, and then getting that on cue with the lighting and getting the sound right and making sure everything's wired up. It's business,
Now, just curious, how repetitive is your business? I mean, something's the same thing again and again and again.
Yeah.
But I always deal with different clients, different cases.
Well, so I deal with different clients in different cases, in the same regard. So, for years, and I'll use my schedule that I had for a while. Obviously, some things have changed in the past year. Every Monday, I was on the radio on WVCW 102.9 FM and WVCW.org hosting
Sounds so official right there.
Monday mashup. So I did that for 4 or 5 years, every single Monday night. Tuesday, Wednesday were like office days for me. Thursday was always a college night at a club. Friday could be anything from a corporate event to a warehouse rave. Saturday could be a mobile event, a stagehand union gig. a wedding, could be anything. Sunday, typically office day, recharge, put gear away, sleep, brunch. So spend time with the girlfriend.
Of course.
So every single gig I'm doing is different. So if I play a club one night, or if I'm on the radio one night, and then I'm at a club the next night, and then we got a wedding the next night, what I'm playing, how I'm playing it, and who I'm dealing with changes. 3 different things all in the same week. Now, over time, certain things can become definitely repetitive. I did a lot of corporate AV for a strong while, and then not that I don't like doing corporate AV work, but it was the same thing of set up a screen, set up a projector, set up a couple of speakers, put a lavalier microphone on someone, let them finish talking, rinse and repeat. And there was a good 4 or 5 months where that's pretty much all I was doing. And I was like, yo, I gotta change this up. And then I picked up a stagehand union gig, and I'm loading in Green Day. And it's like super rock and roll, and there's these like old stagehands. Everyone's got long hair and tattoos, and I'm not having to wear a polo. So by changing the environment and what I'm doing, and that's the other thing, at where I'm at and what I'm doing does change every day. Some of the pieces may be the same because still got to set up speakers, still got to set up turntables, but it changes every day, and that's one of the beauties of it. There's no day in, day out.
I assume you've changed as well from when you first started out. As you get older, your tastes change, what you're interested in, how you look at things.
Absolutely.
And you've been DJing since you were how old?
I was 18.
18. How old? Now you're 30?
Not yet. 30 in November, but
30 in November. It's coming up close.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's coming up.
My condolences.
Oh, right.
I've been there.
This is the weird thing, and this happened to me a few years ago. My target demographic that I play for is 18 to 24. When I turned 25 and I realized I was older than the target demographic that I'm playing for, it was weird. And then a couple of years later, now I'm 29, and I'm doing like a college night, and some girl would come up and like talking to me, like asking for a song, whatever, just like trying to talk, asking questions. And there's a couple of things that get real creepy real quick. When the girl's like, when I find out she's like a freshman and she's like 18, 19, and I'm just like, this is your first time in a club, isn't it? It's weird in a sense. And then the other aspect, this happened to me a couple of years ago at a show. This girl came up to me. She's like, I've never seen a DJ play on like real turntables. And I'm just like, I feel old now. And yeah, it gets a little weird in that aspect. But yeah, 30's coming up quick. I'm having 2 birthday parties this year.
2 birthday parties. Which one am I invited to?
The one in Richmond, unless you want to make the trek down to Raleigh on a Tuesday night.
I'll pass. Thank you.
Okay, see, I figured. Yeah,
I'm a true friend. I'll do it.
Dude, come through, man. Come through.
I assume you're driving your minivan, or is it just a van?
It's a big old van. It's a cargo van.
I remember your van. You have a pretty unique van for a guy like yourself.
Yeah, it's fun. It's I got it from a good friend, Gary Galden. It's a Ford E150 Econoline conversion van. And it can hold me and a ton of equipment, and I can still camp in it. Music festivals, so... I love that van. Best, honestly, one of the best purchases I ever got.
I remember you told me you paid like $1,000 for it, and that was some time ago. It's still running good.
It's still running well. Past state inspection,
Congratulations.
Which, it's a '99 Ford with 250,000 miles on it, and I'm talking hard miles, like pulling a trailer hard miles.
See, I had a 2007 Ford, and that couldn't even get past 70,000 miles before I had to sell it.
Was it a van or a car?
It was a sedan.
Okay, see, that's always been the issue. It's not Ford trucks are great.
Yeah, they're great.
Ford F-150s, the cargos, the transport things. They got the thing that's kind of like a Sprinter, but it's not. All of those, killer. A Ford Fiesta, on the other hand, has never been good. Ever.
But they sure have been popular for a while.
It's because they're fuel efficient. It's because they're fuel efficient. That's exactly it.
I'm just saying, not to get all metaphysical here, but what do you mean by good? I guess it's what you're looking for. If you're looking for high performance, no to 4. If you're looking for fuel efficiency,
it's good. Okay, so
my car gets 15 city, 25 to 30 highway. That's not good.
When I say good, I mean won't break down on you. Durable, reliable. Exactly.
So the Camry, the Accord,
yeah, exactly. You know why so many Indian guys get Camrys? Because it's a good investment. It's got a great resale value. The car lasts forever. Damn near bulletproof. It's just like our people.
Yeah, I'll just say they used to be that way. By they, I mean the cars, not our people.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, to be determined. Who knows what tomorrow will bring?
This is true.
But regarding the cars, with all the new tech features, I just see for every new tech feature introduced, I see one more thing that'll break down, one more thing that'll go wrong.
And they're all electronic babysitters that can fail.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, Mercedes. I mean, they're a money pit because their electronics keep failing.
Absolutely. You know, and that's the huge issue with all of those is the more electronic babysitters you add. Granted, it may make the car safer, but that's one more thing that can fail and screw up an entire chain reaction of things.
I just like simplicity of things. Keep it simple, keep it working, a little know-how. I mean, pretty soon people won't be able to fix their own cars or even change their own oil.
I know a few guys that are mechanics that are having hard times now because people are coming in with hybrids and EVs, and they literally can't touch them, you know?
I mean, if you look at the sensors, the equipment to plug in, it's so expensive. People have to go to the dealer.
Well, you got a Tesla. Where do you take it?
Tesla dealer, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
There isn't somewhere to take it.
And they can set their own prices, and you're kind of stuck there.
It's the trick is it's not quite a monopoly, but no one else can really touch that market in the same way. Yeah, it's
and for the luxury vehicles, if you can afford the vehicle, you can afford the repairs and maintenance bills.
I was looking at it the other day. Do you know what it costs to just maintain a Bugatti, like per year? Like if you got a Bugatti Veyron,
that's $3 million. No, is it the new one that's $3 million or the old one that was $2.2 million?
I think it was the old one that was like
Veyron or
Chiron.
Yeah. So they had the Chiron, then the Veyron, right?
I know. I think it was the Veyron first. I think it was the Veyron first. The one that could do like 220.
Okay, then that's the $2.2 million. I'm going to say it's probably 10% of the starting cost a year, so I'm going to say $220,000 is my guess.
Close. Actually, you're 90% too high. It's about $22,000 a year. That's just in regular maintenance on it.
That's actually not bad if you consider a percent. Maybe I just look at it differently.
Put it into the percentage game.
But that's the cost of a new Corolla, though. Or,
exactly. Exactly. You know, you could buy a decent car for $22,000, and that's just regular maintenance. That's not insurance. That's not registration. That's not gas. That's not the tires you're gonna blow out from doing burnouts like an idiot. That's. Whew.
If you had put on performance tires on those, they're rated for like 0 miles. I mean, use them once, get some new ones.
Man, let me tell you, I used to spend some money on some tires for one of my Civics, and like good tires, you know, it's a good investment. But whoo, you do a couple of smoky burnouts, and well, that just killed $100 worth of tire.
Do you hear what happened to Tracy Morgan's Bugatti?
No.
He literally took it out. He got it, took it out same day, I think leaving the dealership just a few blocks away. Got sideswiped by someone.
No.
$3 million Bugatti, whether it's a Veyron, I think, or whichever one's newer.
I mean, so here's the other thing. Kevin Hart is not a big dude. All right, Kevin Hart kind of a little guy. And, you know, he's not exactly, you know, super jet. So something happens, you expect him just be throwing that car around. I mean, I don't know. When the accident happens and Kevin Hart, bing, 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 around the inside. They get a booster seat for a Bugatti for him? Like, Kevin Hart's a little dude.
Hey, I've got to ask you, am I getting old? I have a fun car. It's Infiniti, the G Series. I love it real fast, but now I just wish I had something more luxurious.
No, not at all.
I think I'm getting old. I just want to be comfortable.
Nah, see, that's not the thing. So when you're a kid, you don't mind having that super loud, really hot, no AC, like Honda Civic that just makes a ton of noise and goes kind of quick. Well, we've already had the quick, we've already had the fast, we've already had the crap car that just, because it goes quick. Well, now we got a little bit of money to spend. We've invested, we've built, we've grown. Well, you know what? Maybe I do want that leather interior. Maybe I do want that wood grain. Yeah, it's not about getting old. It's about now you want the finer things in life.
I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah, dude.
If I'm going to be comfortable,
AC
be on my own terms.
You know, exactly.
You know, like working out, you're uncomfortable, but in an enjoyable way, it's on your own terms. You set the weight, you're in control. Now, if I'm on the roads that needs repairs and it just sucks to drive like that, no, that's not fun.
Well, you're also a lawyer, so you need something reliable.
That is true.
You know, there's kind of no way around that. You know,
if I need to get to court, I got to get there.
Yeah. Dare I say someone's life could be on the line.
Well, that's why I got an Infiniti, though. I saw my wife's Infiniti lasted a full 20 years. Versus I mentioned my Ford couldn't make it. I figured that's what I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And her Infiniti, at its oldest point, was still more comfortable than my Ford before I got rid of it.
You know, Infiniti is Nissan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Which is great.
Nissan makes great cars. I mean,
I'm happy. It's been reliable, no issues. And when it does need standard maintenance, they just use standard, cheap Nissan parts.
For the most part, I mean, you take an Infiniti, you pop the hood, it says Nissan. Same thing, you get an Acura, you pop the hood, it says Honda.
I know people rip Lexus. That's nothing more than a dressed up Toyota. I'm like, yeah, that's what's awesome about it.
Exactly.
It's reliable.
It's like, wait, we can take a Supra motor and put it in this car, but we can have the leather interior and wood grain? Well then, you know, you can...
I'm sorry, I'm failing to see the downside. How it's just a souped-up Toyota.
Where's the problem? Exactly. Absolutely. You know, same thing with some of the Hondas. People are like, you know, Acura, it's just a fancy Honda, and.
I will tell you, though, I've never really cared much for Acura. The exterior, the interior,
Yeah.
I've tried them some. It's never been right for me.
You ever seen the 95 Integra Type R?
Did Doug DeMuro do one on his car channel one time? Doug DeMuro's car channel. No?
No?
Oh,
No.
he has a car channel, a lot of fun. He
Yeah.
reviews a few cars a week.
Yeah?
It sounds, anyway, that sounds familiar. I was wondering if you reviewed. Otherwise, I have no clue what
No,
you're talking about.
it's a good-looking car, but the Japanese version of the car and the American version of the car are almost two totally different cars. Different front end, different part, like engine. The Japanese version was like 220 horsepower. You know, I mean, they had an all-wheel drive version. I mean, thing was badass, and it was, you know, the American version kind of just sucked.
What happened to American luxury? I mean, remember the Lincoln Town Car, the Cadillacs. I mean, that's what you used to see outside the country clubs, or at least you look in the old pictures of them.
I mean, you want me to be completely honest?
Sure.
Capitalism happened.
Yeah.
So in a capitalistic society, and this is all right to the viewers that are watching, people that are listening. I do enjoy capitalism. I do like America. Like, I'm not communist, but hear me
You
out.
and I
on
both
this.
have our own businesses.
We both have our own businesses. We can look at things from different aspects. What is a company that's publicly traded? What is their one sole purpose?
Profit.
Profit for who?
The investors.
The shareholders. Mm-hmm. So the only job of a publicly traded corporation is to make money for their shareholders. There is no moral anything, no guidelines that truly they need to follow, as long as they're making money for their shareholders. So that could mean making things cheaply, making things quick, making things with lead in them, getting parts made in China, getting parts made in a foreign country for much cheaper, where they're laying off, an entire plant worth of American citizens that are building this part, so they can go make it somewhere else. As long as they're making money for their shareholders, that's all that matters. There's no moral fiber behind what they're doing, as long as they're doing their job as a corporation. But so many other things can suffer because of that. It's a very much a yin and yang. You need to be able to make your profit and give back to your investors and your shareholders and the people that help build you to where you are. But at what cost are you doing that?
Then what is making it more profitable to make it overseas and elsewhere than here in the US of A?
Cheaper labor. So you could get the same thing made in a factory like in China by paying next to nothing on the labor and spending more money to ship it back and forth. You spend the money in the transport of the goods.
No minimum wage, no unions,
bingo.
No health code.
Bingo. You don't have to pay health insurance, nothing. No 401k.
No OSHA regulations comply with.
Bingo. One of the Apple plants actually in China, they had to put up netting so people.
Oh, the suicide, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Things like that actually exist. I'm not trying to get all Joe Rogan with you guys, but stuff like that actually exists. So that's, again, a sense of the price of capitalism.
So, but it doesn't sound like, is it the capitalism or is it the people? Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to people. If you have moral people, won't they make moral decisions?
People, you would think. But that's not the case, because there's nothing saying you have to do this. When you hire someone, you're hiring them to get the job done. And, a lot of these CEOs are getting paid tons and tons of money because they can then figure out the way to get the money back to the shareholders. There's nothing about, them having to donate money or, it's not like Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's, I would say, is like a perfect example. They're nationwide. They love everyone. They're pro pretty much everything, LGBTQ, whatever the new letters are. Happy Pride to everyone. I can't remember the letters. They're pro, cannabis reform, all of these different things, and donate a lot of their profits. And in the concept of trickle-down economics, the more the company makes, the more that's going to come down to everyone else, because people then are going to be spending that money. That's the whole Republican notion of being a job creator. Of the more money you make, the more money you're going to be spending on, your next summer home, and which needs construction workers and a maid and all of these other things that create jobs for people.
So I take it the DJ business is going well.
DJ business, it's going well.
I hope I get invited to your summer home. But.
Yeah. I wish. That's the problem. Is small business now. I have less things I can write off of my taxes, which that changed. Actually, any of the equipment I buy for like union gigs can't write off anymore.
Really?
Hard hat. Well, it's because of Trump's new tax plan.
Dang.
Yeah. So like my hard hat, C wrenches, gas between gigs, I can't write any of that off anymore.
That doesn't make sense, but okay.
Yeah,
it's the cost of doing business.
It kind of. It didn't used to be like that, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, again, I mean, you and I both have businesses, and I assume you and I both act morally. There are chances where I could screw someone over, but obviously you don't. Even if you know you won't get caught, would you still steal? Most people still won't steal even if you get a chance.
But then you get people that are not the most morally sound people that get into a position where they can make a ton of money.
Let me ask you, is it the problem the system or the people in the system?
Well,
or isn't the system just the people?
Yes, it's when the bad people get into the system, and the system isn't built to do anything about those people.
That's a good point.
There is no repercussion other than you have to publicly apologize.
Well, if there was perfect information, people could see what the bad people were doing. That'd be one thing. I'm just thinking about the legal community. There are some lawyers who, take people's money, don't do anything, get bad outcomes, and they don't have repeat business. I'm proud of the repeat clients.
Yeah, repeat clients. What better compliment do you get than a repeat client?
Exactly.
Well,
I mean, if you're thinking long term, if you're thinking just short term gains, short term increase in stock
but that's not
levels.
how you build an empire.
But if you're looking long term, though, that's long range planning.
That's your future. That's everything. Yeah.
I think about my last hiring decisions I've made. I could have gone someone with more experience, short term. But I want someone thinking long term potential
that you can build with.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. I completely get it. And that's one of the things actually about our generation that's really interesting is we believe in that mentorship. And almost like an apprenticeship program where we are more prone to start our own business and take someone else in and then teach them everything we know and build together than want to be part of a giant, more corporate machine and just being, another brick in the wall, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried working for other people, but I enjoy doing my own thing for the control, but side of it, make sure it's done a certain way. But I love having interns around and to teach, show them out the ropes of the law, whether it's VCU UFR students or new employees. Yeah, just join teaching, share your knowledge.
It really is, and it feels like you're making a difference. It feels like you're doing something bigger than yourself, and if you really feel like you're a part of something. And that's kind of what everyone's looking for. We can go back to when we were in high school. Everyone's looking to be a part of something. And then when you get into that, so you have an intern or an assistant or secretary, or I don't even know if secretary is a kosher term to be using these days.
Legal assistant.
There we go.
Executive administrator.
Yeah. I like to use the term rave slave for me, but apparently we can't do that anymore, and they got to be interns. Whatever.
Rave slave,
yeah. I
can see so many ways that can go wrong from, have social justice warriors come out with their...
I've tried using Minion, Gopher.
Gopher's a bad one now?
Apparently I can't say Gopher.
What's wrong with Gophers? They're cute.
Gopher, I need you to go for this, go for that.
I'm seeing Groundhog's Day. That's kind of the same thing.
Punxsutawney Phil,
Exactly.
Absolutely. So can't use Gopher anymore. It's weird, man. And plus, in my industry, it's a whole
I wouldn't think your DJ industry, that's one of the last things full of artists and creative people. Wouldn't that be the last place for political correctness to get in?
You'd be amazed. It's an interesting world where everyone is peace and love and harmony, and then at the same time, they're oh, but you can't do that. And wait, hold on. I thought I could be and do whatever I wanted to. Oh, but can
you give an example of this?
All right, so when I first got into DJing, or within the electronic dance music community, everyone's preaching this thing called PLUR, peace, love, unity, and respect.
Okay,
and it's it sounds good. Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
And all these guys are like super PLUR, and it's a lot of Molly and ecstasy, and people are hugging and loving and whatever. Not that I was doing these things.
Sure, you weren't.
Actually, I'm not even into that. Nah, when I was in college, I majored in girls and drinking. Drugs have never super been my thing. Yeah, I've tried a couple of things.
Well, how do you think I afford this office?
Not
Not selling, not dealing, representing
pretty
people
much.
charged.
You know, it's amazing how much money you can save by not spending it on cocaine. You know, it blows my mind. Yeah,
literally blows.
yeah. You know, I've seen some people put away some money in some drugs, but
No, that's
neither
like
here nor there.
addiction. Forget rationality.
It's any kind of addiction, really. But you know, nowadays every drug's cut with God knows what. It's not, you know, even 10 years ago, it was a whole nother world. So,
well, I will say when I was a federal prosecutor on the border, the stuff coming over, that was as close to pure as you'll get because they hadn't cut it up yet.
Exactly. It hadn't been walked all over and stepped on yet.
You know, 88 kilograms of cocaine, just a standard day,
Jesus.
99.997% pure.
Oh my God.
Now, as it goes further north, they'll find ways to,
yeah.
Increase the amount, increase the volume, but
That's crazy.
stuff,
That's a lot of cocaine.
oh, I mean, it was just
88 keys.
sometimes 88, 40, 120. Well, you know how light marijuana is. If it was less than 100 kilograms of marijuana, we wouldn't even touch it.
Really?
No, I mean, you know, we had bigger fish to fry, literally.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, it's just so much, you know, 120 pounds, 330 pounds. That was standard.
Dare I say, with we and you being a lawyer and me being not a lawyer, cannabis in this country, it's every day. It's one of those things where people are trying to have. I'm not saying having to change their tune, but more and more states are either legalizing or decriminalizing or you know, kind of looking the other way. And I've talked to a lot of police officers. I've talked to people with the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, and they're all like, yo, honestly, we got bigger things to deal with. Like, have you ever heard of heroin? You ever heard of fentanyl? You ever heard of, like, all these opiate addictions from, you know, pain medications? We're not worried about a little pot kid, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see. And I'm sure you've seen, you know, even judges, you know, kind of change their tune as opposed to a few years ago.
In some ways, yes,
Yeah.
they have, but at the same time, the law hasn't changed in the past few years. Not really. So we have all the time people come into court and say, Your Honor, I don't get it. It's legal in Maryland. It's legal in
You can get it in D.C.
Well, you're right. And the judges say, I get that many attitudes have changed, but the laws are what they are, and it's still illegal here in Virginia.
Now,
and they say that with a straight face, blank expression. And, you know,
where does the moral fiber come in, though? They know, obviously, as a judge, and, you know, you have to know, and you have to see the writing on the wall at this point of, like, this isn't such a bad thing.
We all know it's going to be legal eventually. It's just a matter of when.
So then the judge that's punishing this person that knows, like, you know, I'll even make the reference with World War II. We just had the 75th anniversary of D-Day. So, you know, Hitler and all of his friends must have known and seen the writing on the wall, like, this shit's coming. And, like, knowing end is near, but decides, like, let's keep pushing on through Russia because we got this in the winter, in the snow, when no one's ever beaten the Russians. Napoleon couldn't beat the Russians. Like, you don't mess with Russia. Okay. But he had to have seen the writing on the wall, knowing it's coming. If you know it's coming, why are you going to keep pushing? Same thing with these judges. They know it's sooner than later. Either Virginia's going to legalize or it's going to just get legalized nationally. Just across the board, just like we had gay marriage a few years ago. So these judges that are then sentencing someone to something know they're destroying someone's life for something that's going to be legal in a couple of years. That's legal already in most of the rest of the country.
I mean, for simple possession conviction, well, there's a first offender program. If people are convicted, it will really destroy someone's life. I mean, it won't help their life.
Well,
probably,
yeah, but even then, still the first offenders and stuff like that, it's expensive to go through that,
and it's not expungible either.
Exactly. So that's still on someone's record for something that if they got caught a year later, it'd be totally cool.
Yeah.
See, that's
Well, see, the mistake you're doing right now is you're using logic and common sense.
Logic and reasoning. I know.
I will say though, is it the judges? The judges have to follow the law. They don't get to pick and choose which laws they're going to follow and enforce. I have judges all the time make comments where, if you read between the lines, they might disagree with the law or think something should be legal, but it's still the law until it's changed. We don't want our prosecutors picking and choosing which laws to follow. We don't want the judges. Again, there are a lot. If you don't like the law, change the law. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the people making laws, they're not doing the job, get someone in there who will.
Yeah, Mr. Smith went to Washington, and we know it. And once they get there, what actually happens? Although the swampy. We are in the swampiest swamp we've probably had since the early 1900s.
What's the difference between a moral legislator and a immoral one? The immoral ones cost a lot more.
Actually.
And that joke, I think, goes back to the 1880s, before they even started having reform.
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, even back in the day, I mean, at any time there's been so much corruption in anything, whether it be, the tax collectors from biblical times.
Sure.
Any of the corruption within the Catholic Church. We could talk about any monarchy, realistically.
Well, I think they go where people go where the money is. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of money coming out of D.C. What is the federal budget? About 1/3 of the GDP. Mm-hmm. That with so much money at stake, people are vying for a piece of the pie for part of the action. Mm-hmm. My answer to that is, in addition to having ideally more moral people, you decrease the size of the power so people are less interested in it. Their stakes aren't as high. We care so much about government today because it has so much influence over us, because it controls so much money. Mm-hmm. If it didn't have so much control over our lives, if it didn't control so much money, people would be less interested, less compelled to have so much of that action.
So does the government control our money, or does the Federal Reserve control our money?
Oh, God.
Oh. I just went through a great book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. Literally just about the creation of the Federal Reserve with the Rothschilds and J.P. Morgan and the Rockefellers and Woodrow Wilson. If you ever get a chance, it's a great book, but holy crap, it opens your eyes to like the sheer corruption.
I don't trust anyone or anything with power. Which is
you
why,
shouldn't.
I want no one or nothing to have too much power, whether it's government, companies, or just anyone for that. Well, that's what worries me.
So you want everyone to be equal?
Well, let's face it, we aren't equal. For example, I will never play ball like Michael Jordan, but I think that, we should be treated equally in regards to the law, how that's done. Or I will never be as smart as Albert Einstein, so I should be granted a PhD in mathematics. So, I mean, equal rights, my vote counts as much as a homeless bum who's barely literate. My vote will count just as much. Is that good? Is that a bad thing? Civically, I believe in equality, but that doesn't mean that you don't take note. Should my opinion on climate change be as valued as that of a PhD in climate science? Probably not.
Yeah.
So I think about equality. I mean, there should certainly absolutely be equality. For example, in my application poll, men applied, women applied. I selected the best candidate who happened to be a woman. There's no affirmative action or anything like that.
That was the best candidate.
Exactly. For my firm, I don't care, if someone's white, black, or purple. I just want the best candidate, period.
Absolutely. And the way it should be.
And I don't want all candidates to be equal. I want someone to be really good.
Yeah, right. You want that person that stands out that you can hire, not just more of the same.
Well, I say, there's just between, you have equal rights, but, our rights should be equal, certain ways we treat one another in relation to government. But at the same time, we should recognize we're not equal. I will never play basketball like Michael Jordan, nor should I be treated as someone.
Yeah.
So for all the talk about equality, I'm thinking, okay, what does people actually mean when they say, aren't we equal?
So when I say...
I have no right to kill you either.
Equality is in the sense of, whether you're white, black, brown, Asian, gay, straight, any variety of... gay, straight,
honestly, when it comes to things like, I just don't care.
I'm kind of the same way. And if I use the wrong vernacular in speaking to you, just correct me. If I say dude or bro, I don't mean it in an offensive way, like by any means. But if there's a term you would prefer me to use, just
Wait,
let me
are
know.
people offended when you call them dude or bro?
If I had a case where there's a friend of mine was male going through the transition, hormone therapy, other different things, to become not a male. And I had not seen them in a few years and saw them. Dude, bro, how you been? Then I was like, oh, shoot. They're like, Dave, it's cool. It's a term of endearment from you. But hey, I would prefer this, but like, you're fine.
No, whatever lessens personal conflict in that regard with a one-on-one. I will tell you, though, I am opposed to that coming down under force of law. California passed a law that made misgendering a criminal offense. Canada's having that as well. Again, how people interact with one another, that's their own choice. I'm not going to enforce that.
If it's an accident, or if you, there's two ways. It can be an accident, or you could be being a dick. You know, and
people have a right to be a dick.
People
should you? I mean,
exactly.
That's
you can pirate music, DVDs, whatever. Should you?
Well, that's actually flat out illegal. But I just mean how people interact with one another. That's
dare I say a moral code.
Sure, but just because you and I have moral codes doesn't necessarily mean that all parts of that moral code should be passed on. Now,
so
I don't kill people. I think that's a good thing to have enacted in law. We don't murder one another. But be a dick, say please and thank you. Things like that, I don't think should be enacted into law.
So interestingly enough, in the micro economy, or I don't even want to say the just more of a microcosm, small villages. Everyone looks out for everyone. Everyone's pretty much cool to everyone. One person does something real stupid, mob mentality takes over, they ostracize that person. It's very Lord of the Flies, Now,
I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but...
Well, so it kind of breaks down like socialism for a second. Socialism in the grand scheme, in true socialism, not democratic socialism. I'm talking like Soviet Russia socialism. I'm talking Venezuela socialism. Does not work. In the very small micro... It does work. Your family, you have a ton of money
in that regard.
Your family, you have a lot of money. Your twin brother has no money. Your twin brother is sick, and if he can't afford the surgery, he gonna die. Are you not gonna give your brother a couple of bucks to help him out?
I know you have a twin, so I hope this isn't real.
No, this isn't real. But it's just an example.
Or with parents and kids, they're very socialist with their kids.
Exactly. So in the micro, true socialism, works. Dad makes more money than, mom, my brother, and I. And Sunday night, dad might buy a bunch of groceries, throw some meat on the grill. We all eat.
Sure.
He was the one doing the work to make the money to pay for the meat, but we all eat. In that micro, it works out. In the macro, it doesn't. And it's the same kind of, ideology of in the micro, you can trust people to be good people and do that. You can get small towns in Western Virginia where you'll have that. People will take care of their own. It's almost like a village. But you go to New York City, no one gives a shit. You're just one of another 2 million people that are living there.
So I read about an interesting study where they took all these rats and put them in close quarters, crammed together like in a city, and they literally went crazy and started killing one another. So take that logic, apply it to people in the city, and they just found people
dog eat dog. Everyone's trying to survive.
Just go crazy.
Everyone's trying to make their money. Go home that day, do their thing, make their money, and you saw a lot of these similar things. I hate to say it, and like some of the concentration camps in World War II, is everyone was there knowing while people quote cared about each other. Everyone's just trying to see the next day. They don't care what they have to do. Everyone's just trying to hopefully survive. They'd see a plane, hopefully they were dropping bombs on them. But at the end of the day, half your family's already been murdered. You're being starved. The next person's being starved. You're just looking out for you.
Just trying to survive.
Just trying to survive. That's all it is. In that same thing, and while I'm not trying to equate New York City or any of these large metropolitan cities to that, but you get less of that everyone trying to look out for everyone type thing when you're just another brick in the wall trying to survive, trying to make it, trying to get through your day, trying to eat.
Oh yeah. Ironically though, as you're saying, that's the place where socialism would be the least likely to work. There's cities that are most likely to vote for socialist policies.
Well, I can explain why.
Okay.
Because you have more have-nots than you have haves. You have more poor people per capita in those areas than you got rich people. Well, there is more money, but a lot fewer people that have that more money. So, like, we'll use just Manhattan.
Okay.
Think about how many super rich people you have in Manhattan, and then think about how many people outside of Manhattan that exist that don't come close to that type of money collectively. It's a whole 99% or 1%er type thing. So if you break it down that way, you're going to have more votes going in from people that come from tougher economic standing or socioeconomic standing than people that are voting another way.
On average, I thought people lived in cities, or the median income in cities is more affluent than the rural areas of America. Is that not true?
It is and it isn't. Again, look at New York City. Look at the projects. Look at
yeah, you definitely have some very rich people living in New York City,
and you have some very poor people.
Oh yeah,
same thing. D.C., Baltimore.
But then I'm thinking about West Virginia, where I went to law school. You have a lot of poor people who don't have running water, or electricity where they live.
It's still using outhouses.
Southwest. So yeah,
absolutely. And it's kind of tough out there for sure.
I mean, I will say poverty in the city is often a lot more in your face than it would be in rural parts of West Virginia or
don't
even
have
Virginia.
any other excuse than to see it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're a poor guy and you see someone in a Rolls Royce or Mercedes go past you, how does that make you feel? Or if you're one of the rich, well, I'd like to know what it feels to be that rich.
Yeah.
Have my Rolls Royce Phantom 2018, 2019 model. That would be sweet.
Rolls Royce, owned by Bentley. Yeah. So, well, and then even with that, in a more poor rural community, someone's going to be sleeping in a barn. And there's going to be 5 miles between that barn and the next house. You're not going to see it every half a block like you're going to see it in a large metropolitan area.
Think about the videos of San Francisco where you just have homeless people everywhere. Seattle now, literally the poop map of San Francisco shows the entire city covered.
So some of that in regards, and definitely with San Francisco. San Francisco started off as a hippie community, and it was free love. It was very bohemian back in the 60s and 70s.
Oh yeah.
Well,
safe haven as well for the gay community.
The gay community, absolutely.
LGBTQIA
plus.
Don't become a parody of itself.
I don't even want to go say it like that. It's just for me as someone that's not part of that community. Not saying that like I'm not an advocate and an ally. I can't keep up. It changes so much, so often.
The idea that here's the thing. I don't, when it comes to identity politics or just identities, I don't think it's healthy to think of yourself in a certain way. You'll go around. How do you identify? How do you see yourself?
Yeah.
I don't think it's healthy for society for people to look at themselves in terms of their skin color, sexuality. Look at yourself. Okay, what's the kind of your character? Mm-hmm. What you bring to the table as far as your skills, experience, your background. That's how people should look at one another. I mean, they used to burn people or kill people for being left-handed.
Yeah, it's true.
No one really goes around, saying, "Hi, my name's Matt, and I'm left-handed," and people don't do that. Yet people would talk about their racial identity or their sexual orientation as part of their Twitter handle for their introduction and who this person is. So, what I'd love to see a world like Martin Luther King is, I have a dream, but say we no longer care if someone's left-handed, we don't kill them for that anymore. Get to the same place. I think we'd be a lot healthier as a society, to the point where we look at, are you right hand or left hand, the same terms of everything else. Yes, there's a history to the sexual orientation and skin color with discrimination, horrible history. No one's denying that. In the same way, many, many years ago, we literally murdered people for being left-handed. The very word sinister comes from Latin for left. So I think at some point we'll progress to that point. But I just hope we get there sooner rather than later.
That kind of, in a sense, reminds me of something we talked about in a DJ group I'm in on Facebook. There's this group, shout out to the DJIS, the DJ Idea Sharing Group. And guys are always posting things about, like what kind of music should I play at a Mexican event? Or what kind of music should I play at a gay event? Like, there's no gay music. It's music is music. People like music. So what do you mean? Like what kind of, what are popular gay songs? And I ask these guys, I'm like, dude, it's music. Like, it doesn't matter. And it's the same thing. With what you're saying is, well, it doesn't matter. Like, don't lead with this one thing. Like, well, so what are you into? Okay. Oh, so you like sleeping with other dudes? All right. Well, that's cool, dude. Like, I don't care. That's your thing. That's you. So you like growing tomatoes? I love growing tomatoes. It's, I don't know. I know exactly what you mean.
Of my clients, I represent gay people all the time. I represent transgender. And the only thing I tell them, when people ask me, I've had clients, prospective clients say, "Oh, just want you to be aware of, my daughter," or I'm like, "Well, your money's still good, right?"
Yeah, like it's, and actually it's funny. There's this company I used to work with, and the owner himself is very hardcore, like almost Tea Party leaning Republican, very, very ultra conservative, very Christian, Bible thumping type dude. Well, morally, he's very against the gay community, but his DJ company does not give a shit. And they're like, "You're gay? So what? Your money's still green? Cool. Works for us." And, while he may personally disagree with it, he's still going to do everything he can to deliver the best service to that couple for that day, no different than anyone else.
Good for him. That's the way it should be.
Exactly, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's what drives me
crazy. Damn right. It's business.
But I'm thinking about Chick-fil-A, how they've gotten so much flack.
Excuse me, but
they get all this flack, all this criticism, yet they'll treat everyone, their clients, their customers, they treat them well. Everyone's happy there. They'll treat everyone equally. Walks in the door looking for a chicken sandwich. Yeah. Yes, the owner may have personal views.
Well, so it's the CEO. It's the CEO, not the owner. It's the CEO that's super anti gay, everything. But to be fair, what he does with his money is his choice. It's not the company that's donating to whatever. It's the CEO that made his money from that company doing that shitty thing. But at the same time, that in a sense comes under freedom of speech, where he, as an American, he has the right to donate to whoever he wants. Sure. Doesn't mean I need to be supporting him, but I'm not supporting him. I'm just buying good ass chicken.
You're supporting a local business owner, a franchisee who employs local people.
Yeah, it's
not healthy. It's not healthy for the country, though. If we say, that shop is owned by a liberal conservative, so I'm going to go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Are we going to have the liberal version of liberal fast food restaurants, the conservative fast food restaurants that? We're divided enough as it is.
Yeah, well, and absolutely.
If I need a DJ, I don't care about some DJ's politics. I just want someone who's going to put on good music. At least that's the way it should be.
The way absolutely. Now, within business at the same time, you and I, we both grew up Jewish. Mm-hmm. Did ourselves and our parents' friends not use other Jewish, businesses or Jewish run, whatever, in certain situations, where, there could have been a better grocery store, a better podiatrist, or a better whatever, but it's so-and-so, I know them.
Well, I think that's it. If you actually know the person, mm-hmm. have that personal connection relationship, you can see that making a difference there. Even if the service is good or not, if it's someone you actually know, it goes back to about socialism, where mm-hmm. people know one another.
Well, it's the whole tribe concept.
Exactly.
Once again.
If you actually know someone, if you think differently, treat them differently.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can also, you have a different understanding when it's someone that you've known. Oh, yeah. Someone I've known you for, over a decade, 14, 15 years now. So,
yeah, best I think about.
So you graduated Godwin what year?
05.
Oh, so you were the same year as Allison Singer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually ran into her the other day.
How's she doing? I always liked her. She's nice.
She's good.
Artistic, right?
What?
Wasn't she very artistic as well?
Yeah, I think she's doing event planning for VC, some type of marketing.
Didn't know she was back in Richmond.
Yeah, so
cool.
She needed a couple of lights the other day.
I wonder how she'd feel if she knows that we're talking about her on the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Allison, how's it going?
Yeah, so that just came up the other day. So if it's 05, so it's 14 years.
Yep.
Wow. Holy cow. That's crazy.
Wait, no, it's more than that. I first met you when you were a freshman at Godwin. What year were you a freshman?
05. 04, 05. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You graduated my freshman year.
I thought I was 2 years ahead of you, not...
I think it was just a year. I graduated 08.
Okay. Maybe I am older than I realized.
Whatever. 14, 15 years. That's still a while.
If we had a kid together, that kid would be in high school by now.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, so one of my friends was talking to me about that. We were talking about our DJ careers the other day. He's like, Dave, you've been DJing for 10 years. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you'd have a 5th grader right now. And I was just like, yo. Just thinking about that. Thinking about children, for me, in general, it's kind of blows my mind. If I had a kid when I had started DJing, they could be in 5th grade right now. I can't imagine having a 5th grader right now. That blows my mind.
Wow.
Right?
We're old.
We're getting there, yeah, for sure.
Well, as we were athletes, we'd be past our prime already.
Are we getting old, or are we getting experienced? We like fine wine. We gain a better flavor from being aged a few years in smoked oak barrels.
Maybe you are. I just feel like I'm getting moldy, worn out.
Dude, my knees are starting to feel it. For sure. Yeah, I spent a lot of time standing on concrete floor.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
Mm-hmm. Coliseums, nightclubs.
Well, I'm a little jealous, though, because I hate to have to sit so much as a lawyer. I mean, I actually have a bit of a reputation in the courtroom. I'm known to move around. I just walk around.
You pace? You pace while you... yeah?
Well, not so much when I'm in front of the judge. I'm very official, very formal, very direct. But while I'm waiting for my name to be called, for my case to be called, I tend to move around a lot. So far, none of the judges have really called me out that much on it.
Okay.
And when I do, I just say, Your Honor, I'm just trying to get my steps in for the day.
Hey, man, you get, what is it, 10,000 steps we're supposed to get a day or something?
That's what I heard. Ever since my GPS watch step counter died, I mean to get a new one.
So what, you got a smartwatch thingy? Or
I did.
One of the Fitbits?
Oh, I had a Garmin. It would do GPS, it count your steps. The battery died, and you have to send it back to them to replace the battery, I think.
That seems really inefficient for them as a company.
I think that's to do with the waterproofing, though. If you look at the phones, remember how the old cell phones used to be, you could switch out the batteries?
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. It has to do with the waterproofing.
Oh, interesting. Actually, I got this thing the other day. It's just like...
It looks nice. What is it? Smartwatch?
It's like a cheap smartwatch.
Okay.
One of my friends was selling them for some promotional something. It's like one of the ones you get off of like Wish or something like that. But I was like, for the money, if it can make my life a little bit more efficient, I'm cool with it. But really, I wanted to be able to accept a phone call from my wrist, like in Power Rangers, they had the wrist communicator thing. So like,
Zell, what's his name? The guy they communicate with?
Zordon. Yeah. So
and he had that robot Alpha 5.
Yeah. So like, if my smartwatch thing can make that sound, I could be, what's up? Yep, dinner at 5. Cool. Like, like, I don't know why. I was a huge Power Rangers fan as a kid.
Oh, they were awesome.
So, yeah, I don't know. The fact that I can, like, talk to my wrist now and, like, order pizza.
So that's too real for me. That's like, oh, my God, the future, we're already...
Oh, yeah, dude, we're in some Jetson stuff right now. I can press a button on my watch and my blinds close. Like, that's the coolest thing in the world.
Too much for me. I mean, I try to have less technology in my life where possible. Put the phone away, turn it off, just things like that where I can.
You got to think of the world I'm in. For what I do with stagehand work and corporate AV and the nightclub industry, we have to be on that cutting edge.
Well, on my end, I do. The thing, though, I always keep my phone with me because as an attorney, I deal in very low volume. I'm not like Walmart.
Yeah.
Which means when someone calls looking to hire a lawyer, I need to make that call count. I need to answer. If I don't pick up, they'll just go down the list and call to the next lawyer.
Yep.
And a lot of people just hire the first person who picks up. So by owning my own law firm, I'm inherently glued to technology, which means if there is an opportunity where I can just turn off, get away from it all, or limit use, I need to take advantage of it wherever I am.
So I completely agree. And I'm there. I'm totally there with you because everything I'm in is like dark clubs, lots of flashing lights, loud music, a lot of people, a lot of, high energy, high stressy type situations all the time. But then when I get that chance to just like be up in the mountains and I got like no cell phone signal and I'm just able to just chill and just enjoy, it's great. But I have to go somewhere like where I have no cell phone signal, so I can't work. In the same regard though, like my favorite time is when I'm like booking like other artists for like a show or setting something up or making phone calls, just chilling, feet in the sand on the beach, like getting work done. I couldn't be happier because I'm like, I'm chilling at the beach, but I'm being productive. I'm making money at the same time.
See, I can't do that. For me, it's all or nothing sort of thing. Because even let's say I go out for a family meal, I have my phone with me in case of someone calls. Last time, the in-laws were in town. We were all just me at Chen's Chinese restaurant.
Classic.
And the phone rang. Not much long. I made the call count, and I got a credit card for a case locally. That it was not insignificant is the best way to put it. But so I was with a family night, but I had to walk away for a second.
That's just being a business owner. That's entrepreneurship in itself. I got to do the same thing. I get a call. That could be a $2,000 wedding I'm doing, or it could be a tour stop, or it could be, someone could be wanting to like make me new merch, or it could be one of my sponsors, something. But I can't not pick up that call, because if I don't pick it up, someone else is getting that call and they're making that money.
My family knows when the phone rings, I pick it up. That's what you got to do. Which is why, though, if I can get away to some place for vacation for just an extended weekend, where I'll just have no cell signal, and just mentally it's weird when you're not glued to it. It's hard. It's unsettling at first.
It is. And for me,
but it's
I've
something
noticed
that I need to do every so often.
It takes me a day or so. Because, like, that first day when I've got no cell phone signal and I'm, like, setting something up, I'm freaking out. Because I'm like, yo, what if someone calls? Like, I gotta make money. I need to put some gigs on the books, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm freaking out, and I'm just unsettled. And I'm, like, keep checking my phone, and there's no updates. There's not going to be any updates.
And I think you and I are in a similar situation in many ways that, people are looking for a DJ or a lawyer. It's very personal. They want the David Sporn.
They're looking to hire you because of what you do and what you bring to the table.
Exactly. They heard something about you. They read something about you online.
Someone recommended you. You did a good job for that person that they know. Exactly.
And if someone else picks up the phone or it's not you, it's...
it's the exact same. It's literally the exact same thing. Different business, different world. But the way that it's run and the way... Because you're a single op. I'm a single op.
Not anymore, actually.
You hired another lawyer?
Well, I hired another lawyer and I hired a legal assistant. Thank you. Full-time lawyer, part-time legal assistant.
Yeah?
Business has been growing since getting back from
okay, so you have a master and apprentice. Okay.
He's pretty good in his own right, actually. He's better at a lot of things than me, which is why I hired him.
Yeah? So where'd you find him?
He and I had worked together in the past, actually. We were under the same roof, renting from the same landlord. The same person who passed away while I was deployed. So when I came back, I rebooted the law firm. At first, I just figured, so much to do. I was looking to hire a part-time legal assistant. That I realized I need someone full-time. That's why I can't even make all my court appearances. So do I need a part-time lawyer? And I have someone, a good friend of mine, Eric Livingston, another good lawyer in the community, he said, wait a minute, at this rate, just hire an associate. And things were great. He was doing all the clerical work that I'm terrible at and doing court appearances. It got so much, though, that it was too much for him to do all that. So to free him up 20 to 30 hours a week away from the admin, I hired a legal assistant so he can go to court more.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, the legal assistant started about 3 weeks ago. Things have been growing.
That's awesome. Mazel.
Thank you. But here's the risk, though. I never know what the next month will bring or the next week. So my overhead's gone up.
That's what I deal with. I deal with the exact same thing because for me, it's, I got to take almost every gig I can. So it's on the books so I can, know I have enough money so I can pay rent and pay for the garage and pay insurances and liability insurance and for events and, just pay my guys. There have been times where I've thrown a show and I lost $4,000. My guys still needed to get paid out for that night, though.
Wow.
I've had nights where, I've made $2,000 in a nightclub at an event. Not to be throwing numbers around like this, but it's to show the highs and the lows. But I still, at the end of the day, whether I make money or I lose money, that's on me. My guys still need to get paid. And I still have to pay my rent. I still got to eat. I still got to pay for my insurance. Otherwise, there's nothing. But one of the things I've learned with business is things come in cycles.
They do.
And it could be a little bit different in your business, but I know for like me...
Feast and famine, boom and bust. It comes in cycles.
It comes in cycles, exactly. For me, like January and July, they're slow periods of time. January, everyone's already gotten through all their holiday parties, a lot of engagement parties are already done. Clubs aren't as active. There's no music festivals. No one's doing any outdoor concert series. And it's not really like convention season because people want to go to like conventions when it's typically a little bit nicer out and they're more destination type of events. So just nothing in January. Then February, things start picking up. March, April, big money times. April through, June is wedding season. It picks up again in late April. Then, September through November, you've got like homecomings, you've got weddings, you've got clubs, you've got fall festivals, conventions, tons of stuff. September through November, that's pure money as a DJ, as whatever. Now, if you're a DJ in like a beach area, obviously, summertime's your bread and butter. You're going to be playing, 6 to 12 times a week, making killer money. But don't expect a damn thing in December, though, if that's your market, And so, but for me, what's hard is I'll look at 1 month, be like, typically summer's hard for me. because people are out at music festivals, or they're going to the beach, and or it's just too damn hot to go out, and or it's just wedding season where it might be it's 1 gig a week, and it could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, but that's it. So it changes there, and I'll have months where I'm freaking out, like, yo, I ain't got shit on the books next month, like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay rent. My girlfriend has been through this with me so many times, and she sees the cycle, and I'm like, yo, like, I'm good in June and I'm good in August. I don't have a damn thing on the books for July, and she'll be like, yo, you'll be fine.
The thing is, you just have to look at it long term for the year, and I say
and look at past years.
And I'll take my own advice though on this,
dude. It's the worst thing.
Every month,
absolutely.
Even the last month was a record month. The second resets as a new month. I'm like, okay, I'm 1 week in, and this is all.
I don't have enough on the books. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it. Like this.
Now,
the
last week, I may make enough in 1 week to make up for 2 months.
Yep. Dude, I trust me. I'm exact. It's like, sir, l'chaim, like
lawyers and DJs. So much in common.
But you see, it's not even that. It's entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship doesn't care whether you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a DJ, you're selling widgets, or whatever. It's just business, and it's just entrepreneurship. And once you can start to recognize those cycles and notice them and figure out how to take advantage of that and plan ahead for it, so where you get the most out of everything as it's going, that's where you start making some of that real butter.
Amen to that. I didn't.
Not saying like you're gonna like have a certain time of year where there are more drug busts versus less drug busts.
I've just always been so busy. I've never been able to look at the stats. Now that I have a legal assistant, something that I actually want to do, run the metrics.
Yeah.
Is there any particular month where I see an increase in DUIs versus simple drug possession versus reckless driving, and just kind of focus? Is there any month that consistently, since I opened in 2014, been very slow or very busy? That way I can plan vacations looking long term.
Yeah. So the data analytics stuff, it's one of the things I had intern do for me a couple of years ago, and seeing like watching episodes of my live stream show I was doing, and like when I would do certain things or play certain music, would things go up? Would I get more interactions? And we could track that for myself by using the Facebook analytics, where they would show us the ups and downs minute by minute of likes, comments, everything, along with the video while it's playing. It's crazy. Like, the amount of data you can extract from Facebook is...
That is awesome.
Oh, dude, the data analytics from Facebook, I mean, they can give you every detail. I can find out how many people came to my Facebook page from a certain website that they ended up like. So, like, let's say, youredm.com does an article on me, and then they tag my or they put a link to my Facebook page on their website. I can go to my Facebook analytics and see how many likes I got from people that got driven to my page because of the traffic of them putting my link on their website.
Nice.
So Facebook, they'll give you everything with a business page, and you can also, I'm just saying, throw that out there, use that for your gain. So then when you can figure out why those numbers did certain things, then you can act upon that, and then really gain something from there, where you'll gain traction, which turns into money. Let's be honest, everything, it's if you figure out the algorithm, you figure out a way to break the code, that's where you can make your money. It's no different than, again, World War II. If you can figure out the code, you're in. So yeah.
What's crazy, I mean, on my end, I didn't set out to be an entrepreneur. I went solo because some other things I was doing just didn't pan out the way I hoped they would or expected. So I figured I'd do this, get some good experience, get hired as a prosecutor, maybe a public defender, and was accidentally successful. It took off like a rocket. I wasn't trying to be an entrepreneur or hire people. Just opened a shop to...
It just happened that way.
Well,
organically.
Not organically, with a hell of a lot of hard work, though. That's bust your ass. You work hard,
and you're always on call.
And the customer service. Well, on my end, what I just sort of looked at what other lawyers do or we're doing in the community, I just try and maximize the customer service side. Lawyers aren't known for customer service. There's such low expectations that it doesn't take much for me to beat them. Why I've told everyone I've hired or ever interviewed was that something that sets us apart is that we actually, treat people with respect. I've heard how other lawyers, when someone calls, they're like, it's often the attitude. I'm a lawyer. You're lucky to be talking to me. Now,
I am better than you.
You're taking up my time. So what do you want? No, it's like you're taking their order, like they're at a restaurant. It's not like, what food can I give you today? It's, hey, what can I do for on the hospitality side to make your stay as enjoyable as possible? Now, obviously, people come to me. They'd rather not need my services, which I get. Same like when you go to a doctor. That being said, what can you do to make it as the most comfortable as possible? Or they're in a situation they'd rather not be in. Everyone I've hired has experience in the restaurant industry, and I've even put on job descriptions because a lot of people would leave this out. Definitely include on your resume if you've ever worked in a restaurant or retail.
Absolutely. You need to be able to know how to handle people and honestly how to take a punch.
My assistant used to work at Applebee's. My legal assistant used to work at Texas Roadhouse, which I love. And I've worked at Olive Garden in Max and Irma's, the one off John Ruff.
Yeah, I remember. God, may it rest in peace.
Oh, yeah. They had really good cookies and some other food.
Good, a lot of everything.
They're just priced way too high in a weird location for the area.
So that every restaurant that has been there has run into some type of issue. There was just a place, my parents used to go there. Angelo's, something like that. It was literally just closed there. The place was killer. I don't know why. It's the sushi place that was there didn't survive.
Restaurants, it's a tough business to be in.
Oh, you think that's tough? Try owning a bar.
Oh, man.
But most bars don't make it to 1 year. And if you survive 1 year, hopefully you can make it to 5. And then if you make it after 5, it's a miracle.
Now, I think a bar would be better than a restaurant because the markups are much better on
There's no such thing as a bar in Virginia.
Of course, right.
There's no such thing as just being a bar. You're a restaurant that can serve alcohol.
Is it 50% has to come from food sales? 45. Oh, that's rough.
45. Yeah, there's no such thing as just being a bar or being a club.
Oh, look where we are right now in West Broad Village. Think of all the places that have just closed. Was it the Ale House, Carolina Ale House, Kona's, Keegan's? That's 3 right there.
Honestly, I'm okay with Keegan's closing. I'm okay with that. There was some shitty business that they were doing.
Really?
Yeah.
No, all I can say is that I always enjoyed the food I was served there. That's
food's great. From a business aspect, they did some sketchy things a couple of times. They also threw me and a radio host from Richmond out of there one time because of this one thing, and it was
okay. I feel like there's a good story here, but has a statute of limitations passed? That's what.
Oh yeah, well no, there's nothing that's wrong, and I can tell this story. Jackson, I apologize now. All right, so I went to Keegan's one night and we were talking about something with the radio station and me and this other DJ and this whole big thing. Well, there's this dude I grew up with that I was friends with because his mom and my mom worked together. So for some reason, his ex-girlfriend hooked up with one of my friends who looks a lot like me and has the same name. So this dude, we're at Keegan's, and dude thinks I was that dude that slept with his ex-girlfriend, which it's your ex. Like, one, it wasn't me. Like, full on check, he wasn't me, but it wasn't me. Like this is one of those things I will gladly own up to. This time wasn't me. And so dude is like a barback at Keegan's and like sees me. He's like, F you, F this, mother effort, get the F, like losing his ish while holding like a bunch of liquor bottles. And I'm sitting there and it's like me and like a manager of mine at the time and like Jackson from Q94, like this whole big fucking thing, right? And the manager comes over and like tells us like, hey, you guys need to pay for your food and leave. We're like, we didn't do, we just been sitting here, bro. And the manager's like, yo, you need to do this. And I'm just like, I'm mad. And Jackson, who's like the main host at Q94 at the time, like on air talent, goes like full on taking off your earrings. Like, no, David, I got this. Like, hey, remember when you guys were just trying to buy those ads? Hey, so I'm that guy. Dave, pay for your stuff. We're gonna be like, I need the card of the owner. So he like goes back to Q94, uses his Clear Channel email address, like email the owner. It's this like, whole big mess. All because like this one shitty barback that decided to get angry with me because he thought I slept with his ex-girlfriend, but I didn't. And like this whole big thing, but Keegan's chose to side with their employee instead of their customer that's paying them when it wasn't even the right dude for a barback. Not like a manager, not security, not like talent performing there, not a dude in the band performing there on stage. A barback. Like that's the guy that brings more beer when they run out of beer. Really? Are you kidding me? So it was a stupid thing, and then like I also heard plenty of stories about them not paying like guys in bands, or paying guys like the bands less than they were supposed to be getting. Same thing, waiters and waitresses not getting tips that they were supposed to be getting because they did like a whole tip pool thing, and then like suddenly like, we should have been making at least like $300 each tonight. Why I'm only walking out with $180?
That's pretty sketchy.
Yeah, and have you ever been to whatchamacallit, Penny Lane downtown?
Is
the British bar or British restaurant and bar?
I don't know if I've ever been there.
It's a cool spot. It's right by like the VA Lotto office. What's cool about it is like when you walk in, dude, you would think you're in England. Like, nice. 100% real talk. The decorations, the music playing.
Okay, now I know I haven't been there because it sounds very memorable.
It's super cool. Like, they got like posters of Princess Diana next to the Beatles. Like,
sweet.
It's awesome. But Keegan's was like cheesy Irish. It was like plaid skirts and like Guinness like signs everywhere. It's like, you can do better,
Yeah, well,
the food was good, but the operations needed a hand for sure.
Yeah, so much I've come to appreciate. It's not the idea, but the execution.
Mm-hmm.
And even the product, the food itself is good.
Yeah,
which, I enjoyed my food at Keegan's. But what about everything else? Why would I go there instead of so many other places around?
Exactly.
Think of all the options, opportunities we have. You really need to stand out as a restaurant and offer something different.
Well, it's when local becomes corporate is when you fail. If you can keep your local model and design, but take that, I don't want to say a chain anywhere, you'll be successful. Look at Mellow Mushroom. Mellow Mushroom in Carytown took over what used to be the Plan 9 area. Plan 9 was a very historic record store here in Richmond. And, well, they're still open, but that one was super historic. What did Plan 9, or what did Mellow Mushroom do? They did an entire mural made out of vinyl there to pay homage to what that
nice
room used to be before it became Mellow Mushroom.
Yep.
They get it. They keep their decor, their style, their swag, whether it be the beer, the pizza, or, whatever menu. But they also pay their respects to wherever they're at, the local,
It's been a couple years since I went to Mellow Mushroom. They opened a location just down on Broad Street from here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was good pizza. But I just haven't been back since, even though I really enjoyed my food.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, everyone I know who goes there, they had a good experience. They like their pizza. How many people go there twice? That's the thing. So this location, anyway.
It's funny you say that. So I've been to a lot of Mellow Mushrooms, but I can't think of too many that I've been to twice. But whenever, so I've been to the one in Chapel Hill. I've been to both of them in Richmond. I've been to the one in Charlottesville. So when I was in Charlottesville, I was there playing a show, and the guys that were the promoters that booked us were taking all the talent out. They're like, yeah, we got this place, we got this place, we got this place, we got Mellow Mushroom. And I was like, yo, Mellow Mushroom. Like, I know it's going to be good pizza. I know they got good beer. It's not too terribly expensive.
So you're basically doing all the pitches of McDonald's, but for something even better. You know what there is to offer, but the quality you're aiming into. It's something not too expensive.
Yeah, it's hitting all of the right marks without me taking a gamble on a place I don't know, and I know I'm going to be getting something of decent quality, but still local in a sense, because it's not just another cookie cutter, McDonald's. Every McDonald's, for the most part, looks the exact same.
Which is kind of the whole point of it.
Exactly. It's extreme control, but then you get into, Mellow Mushroom. All of them are different. Everywhere you go. Swagger.
Well, let me ask you, how do you think McDonald's would do if they did embrace that local idea? Imagine if the local McDonald's here had Deep Run Wildcats or Gowan High School decor. Would that do anything different, you think?
You have some type of control as a franchisee of a McDonald's, but then at the same time, everything is there and put in a place for a reason. And it has been scientifically researched. The exact same thing with Walmart. They know everything for every reason, every location, every height, every bit of everything. So then you're throwing away that research and development for more community aspect. Like, can you prove analytically that bringing in that local high school whatever is going to do more for the business driving?
I guess a lot what they're afraid of is if we give our franchisees more control, they might get some things right, but they're more concerned about things going wrong. If one franchisee does something really stupid, let's say Douglas Freeman Rebels. That's their name as a school. A lot of ways that could be construed in this politically correct age.
Absolutely.
Some of them could way that could really backfire royally.
But to them, we're just supporting the local high school. But to the African American community, we'd be like, yo, why you got Confederate flags everywhere? Well, the Freeman Rebels, local high school, and then it's like, dog. It's funny actually. That would
hurt the corporate brand, even if it's popular locally. Even brings in more business locally.
But how does it make McDonald's look as a company
and
as a
it's
whole?
not just McDonald's here in West End of Maricopa County. What about the St. McDonald's in San Francisco? That means people stop going to the McDonald's in San Francisco because of what happens to the McDonald's.
Although, how much did we spoke about Chick-fil-A CEO fighting against gay rights? How much did that actually hurt Chick-fil-A?
Hard to say because they're still growing. Would they have grown more, or would their growth have been less? But for everything going on.
Exactly.
If you go to a lot of Republican events, they order Chick-fil-A. Now, do they do it make a political statement, or are they doing it because it's good food?
Chicken?
Or maybe it's a combination. Maybe they would have, all things being equal, they might have gone somewhere else. They figured, what?
So is that when we get back to the whole tribalism thing, where they specifically bought Chick-fil-A, not only because it was good chicken. I mean, they could have gotten KFC, also good chicken. But they know where their money's going with the KFC. It depends what you get.
Okay, if you just want pure fried chicken, go to KFC. It's really good. Popeyes is good as well, but KFC's the go-to. The $5 fill-up.
I'm a Popeyes guy because it's got a little bit more spice to it.
I like their fries at Popeyes, but I like the wedges from KFC. But for just a chicken sandwich, go to Chick-fil-A. You
know what I miss? I mean, we talking fried chicken. U-Crop's fried chicken, and those were some potato wedges.
I don't remember that. I miss U-Crops for a number of reasons. I'm still not over their loss.
Dude,
but
none of us are.
We'll never get over it.
No.
And people who move here after they've disappeared, they just don't get it.
They don't.
I'm thinking about my wife. She knows I speak fondly of it. It just doesn't have that impact, the emotional appeal.
Absolutely. There's some days where I'm just like having a crappy day, and I go to the grocery store to pick up whatever for dinner,
cookies.
and I see the rainbow cookies, and I'm like, I'm gonna get me some, the rainbow cookies, it's exactly, I couldn't agree more, Yeah, I get it. And here's the crazy thing: having grown up in a Richmond, when there was a Kroger next to a U-Crops, and they were like, it was a grocery store war between them, and now Kroger's selling U-Crops rainbow cookies.
So weird. Yeah. Are you thinking about the one off Gaskins Road? And
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I remember, and especially on Fridays, I leave my I was in nursing school. My mother and I would go there after she picked me up from JCC, and we'd get our Shabbat dinner, challah from there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like their bakery, they didn't care if you were black, white, Jewish, Christian. U-Crops, granted, they were a Christian.
Yeah, and they were closed on Sundays and sell alcohol. I mean, there's always an ABC store open wherever there's a U-Crops. But
well, and that was the other thing. They sold no alcohol, and everyone was like, "You're not going to make it as a grocery store not selling alcohol," and they did it. And they were closed on Sundays, but they had no problem making challah for the Jewish community, and they sold things that were halal for the Islamic community. They didn't care who you were. You were from Richmond? You live in Henrico County? All right, cool. You're one of us.
Yeah.
Go get your food.
Is there demand for this product?
Exactly.
Along the way,
can we make some money off of it? I was talking to my roommate's girlfriend a few weeks ago, and we were talking about Jewish-owned barbecue places. And she was like, but you guys don't eat it. And I was like, you know what we like more than eating ribs? Making money off of it. We may not eat it, but we know we like making money off it, and there's a target audience, a market for it here. Pato's Hams and Deli, Grandpa Eddie's Alabama Ribs and Barbecue, Buzz and Ned's, all Jewish.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, Buzz. I think they want to say it's Goldberg, Greenberg, something.
Man, I love Buzz and Ned's. They're solid.
Yeah. So we may not eat it, but we know we can make a whole lot of money selling it. It's like the best drug dealer in the world.
Not dipping in your own supply.
Not dipping into your own supply. Exactly. Or Hindus that sell meat at Indian restaurants. They may not eat it, but they know that there's a huge market that does want to eat it, and they can make money doing that. It's good business. Same thing with U-Crops. They may have been a Christian family running this grocery store, but they're gonna sell something for the Muslims and sell something for the Jews and sell something for the Catholics, and because money's money. It's just good business.
And as long as you're treating everyone respectfully, whatever your personal views might be, just treat
it's community.
Yeah.
It says love thy neighbor.
I don't need you to agree with my politics or my religion for us to get along. And,
absolutely.
So that's, again, it's about tolerance. I mean, that's all it is. Yeah, I feel like there's a push these days for not just tolerance, but you have to accept and like whatever it is people do.
Yeah.
So, and if you express an opinion, I'm thinking about the owner of Chick-fil-A. Look, he has his political views. He disagrees with, the gay marriage issue. Okay, well, people will go out to demonize him, even though there's, as far as I know, it's his political views. But when they make it personal, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. Why we're getting so polarized. To the point where, okay, you disagree with me. You don't disagree with me because you just disagree with me, or for whatever reason. You're actually a bad, evil, immoral person and need to be ostracized. Remember the CEO of Firefox? He lost his job?
No.
Yeah, he had donated to that proposition in California about marriage. And, this is what he did it at the same time that President Obama was against gay marriage. Yet, years later, he lost his job because people said, oh, wow, the Firefox is anti-gay.
Yeah, and that's a tough one. And at the same time, though, if you're getting paid millions of dollars to do what you're doing for a company that is a worldwide company, you're also ostracizing part of your target audience.
Well, is he actually? Well, let's look at Chick-fil-A. Is the CEO of Chick-fil-A actually ostracizing anyone, or are they the ones trying to make themselves be victims?
So Chick-fil-A is a company. Chick-fil-A doesn't care. What Chick-fil-A's CEO has done with the money he got from working for Chick-fil-A, he now as CEO is the guy really running the company top down. He's a representative of them. What he does reflects based back on the company.
That is,
no matter what you do.
Whether it should be that way or shouldn't be that way, that's the reality of the world.
That's the reality. Bill Clinton, he got some action in the Oval Office from someone that wasn't his wife. Now, granted, that's not illegal. That's not, he broke no law in doing that. He didn't do anything wrong. That's an issue between him and his wife. That we got nothing to do with that. But at the same time, he's still representing America.
I'm just thinking about this. If you have an employee that makes you look bad, even if you've done everything right, the employee makes you look bad, you might have to sever the relationship.
I've had to do that, and it sucks.
Now, what if it's over because the employee has embraced or espoused a political belief that at the time was embraced by the majority or even a significant minority of the nation?
So,
let's say one of your employees says, you know what, I'm a Trump supporter.
I've got plenty of them. But, all right, so I'll break it to you this way. So,
I bet there are DGs out there who would not hire a Trump supporter, though.
And it goes vice versa.
Sure.
The gay-black couple doesn't want to hire a guy that doesn't believe they deserve rights or should be allowed to get married. Maybe that's not the guy that you want, working for you, or maybe that's not the guy you want to hire because maybe he's not going to deliver as good of a service to you because of what you are. At the same time, though, that's knowing to take a booking or to take a gig or not take a gig, knowing if you're the right guy for it. I've had people call me up before and been like, I could do that, but I am not the right guy for that. There are other far more qualified dudes that are better at it that can do it for the same price I'd be doing.
I'm thinking about certain cases, child molestation. I mean, I love criminal law in certain ways. Certain cases I would not enjoy. No.
And you got to look at it. What is it going to be on for you to do that? Like how much of a toll is it going to take on you to do that? And then what is financially, what's it worth? And then it's very tough.
Here's the strategy though. When someone calls about a case that if I look at time, I'd say normally I charge $5,000 for, and they tell me what the charge is, I'll say, okay, my price for this is $30,000. And if I were to get hired on that,
If opportunity comes knocking.
Look, this is just the cost. The way I value my time doing this kind of work. Does that mean I'm a sellout though for doing that? You can make an argument. Does it mean there's a price on morals, or is it even a moral issue just personal comfort? On my end, I think everyone has a right to a defense. Period. And I look at my job as something so important. The founding fathers enshrined in the Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Doesn't mean I agree with them whatsoever. We have a system, we have rules, procedures. My job is to make sure the government plays by the rules. I've often told people I don't defend criminals. I defend the rule of law, make sure the government proves beyond reasonable doubt while respecting all persons' rights and following the rules of evidence before anything. If they can do that and get a conviction, that's what the system calls for. Again, there are certain cases I really don't want. There are also some clients I don't want. That's a
that's a whole nother. Yeah,
but there are cases where I'm just so uncomfortable with it that I bet there is a price where I'd be more comfortable doing it.
To be fair,
justify it.
Everyone has a price for anything.
So there's told this joke the other day. Man walks into a bar, approaches a woman, says, "For $1 million, will you sleep with me?" She says, "For $1 million, I would." Okay, he says, "How about $10?" She says, $10? What do you mistake me for? A prostitute?" He says, "We already established that. Now we're just negotiating."
Yeah, exactly. So, it's funny. Now,
bear in mind, I think I just realized I compared myself as a lawyer to the oldest profession. But
I mean, being a lawyer, I'd say that's maybe second, third oldest professional. First you got that, then you got your tax collectors, and then I think it's you guys. I come way down the line. We had to have recorded music first to be a DJ, truly.
But aren't there DJs out there who kind of create their own music as well?
Yeah, those are producers. That's your Aviciis, your Zeds, your Tiestos, your Armin van Buren's, your Marshmellos. And they make a lot of their own music. They make a lot of their own music. I've put out some stuff. I've been assigned to record labels before, but that's not the type of performance I want to be doing. I want to be more focused on scratching and beat juggling, more of the stuff where I really have the opportunity to win a U.S. title. So that's kind of been my focus, is more of battle style DJing in the past few years, as well as nightclub management, which is a whole totally different ballgame.
Would you want to own your own nightclub here in Richmond?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not?
Absolutely not. At least not in Virginia. Not the way ABC laws are. I don't want to own a restaurant. Period. I don't like. I would if I did own a bar, I would be cool with it. I would like to own a bar. I would like to own a nightclub, but not in Virginia. Not the way Virginia's got it.
What if you you didn't sell alcohol, you just sold French fries? For every French fry you got, a drink came with it. So you get the expensive French fry called the vodka French fry. Upper shelf vodka fry.
That's where actually it gets really tricky and there are a lot of bars that have done you could get the Tiki Special or whatever, and every time someone ordered a Bud Light, it would come up as fries or something. That's super illegal. Or you pay $10 cover when you get in, and it's not really cover. It's just everyone's paying for the $10 all you can eat buffet, and they just keep bringing miscellaneous crap out, and no one actually has to order food. Or when I lived in North Carolina, there's no such thing as illegal happy hour in North Carolina. Period. The drink prices from the second you open to the second you close have to stay the same. It's North Carolina. Don't even get me started. It's that whole Bible Belt southern thing. So you couldn't do a happy hour, but between 5 and 9 p.m., if you bought a sandwich, it could come with a free beer, but only between 5 and 9. So you buy the sandwich, we'll buy your beer.
So that's the problem with more laws. There's just more problems created, more creativity to get around them.
More strategy.
When I said earlier, I like keep things simple, very clean, efficient.
That's how the Russians do. The Russians, there's only you could all of the laws in Russia, you could fit into one of those driver's ed pamphlets.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Right. But at the same time, that's where you can have all of the corruption for whatever you want, because there's no law saying it's illegal.
Oh, that's a problem.
That's a problem. Exactly. It's checks and balances. So
I just feel like it's a problem in this country, the fact that to even know what the laws are, you need to go to a lawyer. The law should be so simple that everyone, the average person, can understand it.
Legally, a police officer doesn't have to know the law that they're arresting you for.
Oh yeah,
A police officer
they can even make mistakes.
come up, not know what he's arresting me for, arrest me, shoot me because he thinks he knows I was doing something illegal.
Well, a little more for lethal force than.
Let's be honest. A cop only has to say they feared for their life before they can use legal
And
force.
a jury would have to agree that the officer was being reasonable about that.
But in the military, if you're firing at someone, you have to give a warning shot first.
No,
Really?
no.
In a combat zone, you don't have to fire one round before actually firing at someone to kill them.
Why? No, that's no. If you're shooting to kill, you're shooting to kill.
In the rules of engagement, don't you have to give a verbal warning first?
I mean, if we're talking about actual warfare, there are definitely rules of war. But when you're actually shooting at enemy soldiers,
Well, yeah. If you're once you're actually shooting at them, but if let's say there's a civilian, like let's say you're Iraq, Afghanistan.
Okay.
There's a civilian. Let's say they do have a gun. They're not a soldier per se.
well, you have to make a judgment call. Maybe it's just someone who's carrying an AK because it's a dangerous area, dangerous because of bandits or wildlife, or maybe it's someone who's going to kill you. And under right now, our enemies don't wear uniforms. It's not like the
It's not World War II.
rare. Okay, that's clearly a German soldier, so you legally kill that person because it's war. In this case, our soldiers have to make a judgment call. Is this person part of the enemy? If you can confirm this person is a legally recognized enemy, generally you can kill. But
How
the thing is,
how do you
can't.
confirm that?
Well, often you can't until the person takes measures against you, and then you can do it.
And then, all right, so if they take measures against you,
Which it might be, and then hopefully it's
can-
not too late. Hopefully they won't
you
kill
can fire back, but you cannot just see them walking holding said gun.
Well, how do you
and
know?
Fire upon
Well,
them.
you have to know that person is actually the enemy. And if all you know is that someone walking with a gun,
You can't just fire upon them.
No, I mean, it could be just
So,
some innocent person.
First,
who's,
first you say something, and then if they don't respond the right way, there's supposed to be a warning shot, and then you can.
No. I mean, the stuff with the warning shot, that must be some internet hocus pocus or myth. It's pretty simple. If there is a threat to your life, whether you're a soldier overseas or here in America, you're allowed to use whatever force is necessary to preserve your own
So,
life.
if there's a threat to my life that's an off-duty police officer, does capital murder come into it if I have to use legal force to defend myself?
Well, I mean, as you said, it's legal force. Do you say lethal or legal?
Lethal.
Well, again, so long as you're not doing something illegal, someone's just, it doesn't matter if someone has a badge or not. If someone's engaged in crime and is posing a threat to your life because of their criminal activity, you can use whatever means are necessary to preserve your life.
So that
And proportionalities. Okay, let me use the. I use this example in class every semester about use of force has to be reasonable. I'm about 200 pounds. If a 100-pound, 5'0" female were to come at me unarmed, I can't pull out a gun and shoot her because that's just not reasonable. I can't claim that I'm in fear of my life. Now, on the other hand, if someone my size were to go to someone that small, she could use lethal force even if someone my size is unarmed because of the size differential. She can claim that she's in fear of her life.
okay.
Now, if I know I'm just going to get a butt kicking from someone, you have to take a butt kicking.
Yeah,
It all comes down to, do you actually fear for your life? In which case, or grievous bodily injury, like you're permanently disfigured or maimed, then you can use lethal force. So it's just a butt kicking. You have to take a butt kicking.
So now I ask
That's
you
under
about
Virginia law
the
anyway.
police officer that went into the wrong apartment recently. While she was off duty, there was someone that was in his own apartment legally. She went into the wrong apartment, which I have questions about that, and then fired upon the person and killed them.
Now that's okay. That is a tough one.
That's murder.
I think it is. Well, here's the thing. At the time
because
she pulled the
she's-
trigger, did she honestly believe that person was coming at? What was that guy doing?
See,
when she
that's
pulled
that's
trigger?
living in
heard
his own
about the
home.
story.
So,
well, I mean, if it's some guy sitting on the couch just watching TV,
in his home, and
even
then,
if it wasn't his home, if you walk into your house and you sit on your couch watching TV, for all you know, it's some crazy person who's off his meds.
So-
or maybe it's someone who on a hot day is trying to get out of the sun, or a cold day get out of the cold. You just don't know.
so this police officer
But is
then
that person
goes,
actually posing
goes
a threat
go-
to you?
She was in the wrong apartment. She broke
She made a
into his
mistake.
place. Or not broke into, even if she had a key or the door was cracked.
I'd say that's at least some form of manslaughter or a homicide.
That's murder.
The whole idea.
If you go into an apartment that is not yours, and then you fear for your life, and then kill them and say that you feared for your life. It's an excuse.
I'm very dubious about her story in the first place. I can't help but wonder.
Either way, she killed someone.
Oh, no question she killed him. But the whole idea of murder versus just killing is that murder is an unlawful killing.
Theoretically, though,
I think there's definitely something unlawful about that.
Flip the script. She breaks into your place. You fear for your life. Now you've shot her. She calls in officer down. They kill you regardless. Either way, out of that situation,
that would suck.
You get killed. If not, then you just killed a police officer. There's nothing saying that she didn't break into your house for something you were doing wrong. Then next thing you know, you have 90 cops in your house. Either way, her walking into that apartment, he was going to die. Either she kills him, or he calls in, he fires back, she doesn't die, she calls an officer down, or he does kill her, and they kill him anyways. So there's no outcome where you don't die.
You reminded me of a case the other day. It involved a traffic situation where I don't want to give too much away because of client privacy.
Understandable.
Something unexpected happened on the road. The lanes, not all lanes were open, and people had to merge over. And with just the way cars were, limited visibility and timing, there was a situation where literally options were very limited and almost non-existent to avoid an accident. Thank God there wasn't an accident. No one was hurt or killed. But there nearly could have been. A client got pulled over and charged accordingly for that reason. There are some circumstances that come up either because of no one's fault or because of mistakes, and honest mistakes at that any of us could make that result in situations that are just bad.
There's where there's no way out of it. One way or another.
I think about it recently. I was in a hotel and I started to get in the wrong room. Again, now that's a hotel, not my house, not my apartment.
But then if
things are a little different.
You go into this wrong room though, and then you think someone else is in your room, you pull out your gun and you kill them.
Well, wait, what's that person doing?
It doesn't matter. You went into the wrong room. That's on you, bro. That's not on them. You went into the wrong room. So it doesn't matter what they're doing in their own room.
Well, I think I'll agree. That person has committed a crime. Not just the entering the room, but the killing. But it's not as egregious as premeditated murder, though. It's, just how much, what's your culpability?
But at the same time, if that's the person
there's still
that
a
lives
dead person there. It doesn't change the fact someone's dead.
At the same time, if it's the person that lives in the apartment next to your apartment, you know them. There's no way you don't know them.
Was it the next apartment? Was it the wrong floor? I think. Either way, she made a mistake. I think there should be consequences for that mistake.
I'm not to use a Hammurabi in the eye for an eye, but that's murder.
The whole idea, though, is what's the intent? If you see someone's crossing the street and you speed up to run over them, that's definitely murder. So, but if someone's crossing the street and you just aren't paying attention and you hit them, the action's the same. You hit someone with your car, someone's still dead. But we definitely care. What was your intent? Not just the consequences of your action.
Were you thinking to hit them, or was
it negligence or on purpose?
So here's the thing. So that's kind of where I was going.
That's
the police officer had to have known this person. If they live in the same building, they live near them. Maybe they even had a romantic relationship that we're not even talking about. Which then that's
the whole idea of legal idea of manslaughter versus murder is. Murder is the idea where you're trying to kill someone. Manslaughter is you're not trying to kill someone.
Shit happens.
Exactly. Yeah. And what would otherwise be lawful action, such as you're driving down the road and being negligent, you hit someone, okay, that's manslaughter.
So the second this officer says, I feared for my life, any premeditation goes out the window. Allegedly. It could have been premeditated. Because they're an officer of the law,
and they could get away with something.
They can come up with whatever they want. And what are we able to do to find out the real truth that turns out it was actually premeditated, but whatever.
Something I've really come to appreciate as an attorney is just there's so much you don't know.
Yeah.
What people can come into court and say anything. You never know what a witness will say until he or she opens the mouth. And body cameras really change things. I love having body camera. And a lot of law enforcement hated it when it first came out. They said, you know what? I'm going to do things right 99% of the time. That one time I screw up, there it is.
Maybe you shouldn't screw up. Well, if you have the right to a gun and a badge, you shouldn't be allowed to screw up.
Here's the thing, though. I never forget I had this case in a rural part of Virginia where I'll just say my client's conduct was absolutely outrageous. And the officer, it was a sheriff's deputy, said, the day they tell me I can't go out with body camera anymore is the day I hang up my badge and gun. because I think people have come around and realized just how much it captures, how much evidence it is. And
but it goes both ways.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've won cases because of body camera footage where, again, call things, but maybe, most cases, I don't think it's lying. I just think it's people doing a bad job, human error. For example, I had a case where, 9-step walk and turn is a DUI test, field sobriety test. So it's supposed to count to 9 steps out loud while doing other things, turn around, do another 9 steps.
I've done it.
The officer said that my client only did 8 steps. They're saying their person's drunk. They can't even count to 9.
But then
I want some body camera footage.
Yeah.
9 steps.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a case recent.
Oh, and just for clarification, I don't think that officer was lying. I just think
it was an honest mistake. But if that is what you're using for your basis of measurement, well, you still screwed up. I mean, it can only be. But
the officer made a lot of mistakes. I mean, because of body camera footage, I filed a suppression motion. And we worked things out, but basically it means that my client have to plead to a felony, and thank God for body camera footage.
Yeah, and again, it goes both ways. It can show me being an idiot. It can show you making a mistake. But when you put both of those together, we might not even have a case anymore between your screw-ups and my screw-ups and the whole nine.
It's more evidence. Now, what does evidence show? No evidence 100%.
But it doesn't
only
lie.
shows a
But that
view.
evidence doesn't lie. That's one of the things I like about.
But it can't show
numbers.
things from only a limited angle and perspective. You could be missing something completely. Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Great episode where they have the mom from Malcolm in the Middle, what's her name, Lois, doing something that looks illegal in her driving. She gets a ticket for. Yet, at the very last 30 seconds of the episode, they find the second video from a store across the street showing another angle, showing, wait a minute, she actually was following the law. So, again, it's not perfect. But
No.
I'd rather, but it's better than
nothing. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, it's funny you mentioned about a field sobriety test. So, there was a time I've had to take a field sobriety test. Now, I was completely sober in this situation. I was completely sober. I had actually just finished up bartending in North Carolina. And I had to go through a DUI checkpoint. Now, why they were doing one in the rain is beyond me. But I was stone cold sober. But I'd been up for 20-ish hours straight. It was a game day, so I had to open and close the bar. And I'd been bartending all day. Obviously, I have definitely spilled some stuff on me throughout the day. Throwing the rain and everything else, I smelled like a DUI. I rolled down the window. They check me with the pen. My eyes are glassy because I just want to go the hell to bed. I'm tired. I've been working all day. So they're like, hey, you need to get out of the car and do a field sobriety test. I'm like, yo, I haven't been drinking today. Like, let me get the breathalyzer. Like, you need to do a field sobriety test. So I'm doing this in the dark, uphill, in the rain. No body cams, no nothing. I'm like, the entire time I'm like, can I just please do the breathalyzer? Like, give me the breathalyzer. Nope. I got to keep playing their reindeer games.
There's another reason for that, though. That way they can establish that, you've been under their eye for at least 15 minutes while doing the field sobriety tests. That way you can't say it was just mouth alcohol. You just took a swig of beer or mouthwash before talking to the officer or something like that.
Breathalyze me. Just breathalyze me. Nothing. So, and it's in the rain at night, and I'm over it, And I left my wallet back at the bar. So they got me for, driving without having my license on me, whatever. I showed up in court, showed them the thing, they let me leave. So I did a breathalyzer, and they were like, oh, 0.00, no fooling, you haven't been drinking today. I told you that. I wanted to lead with this. Why am I now soaking wet when I didn't have to be for something that obviously wasn't? So then we get to court, and I show them, I got my ID, everything's cool. Then the person brought up how they had to do a field sobriety test on me.
Objection, not relevant to whoever you were charged with.
Oh, no, the officer told me I was good, no court costs, no anything, and I heard him just start tearing into the officer.
Wait, who was tearing into the officer?
The judge.
Really? For mentioning it?
For mentioning it. Why?
What did you get a ticket for?
Just not having my license on me, and I showed up with my license.
What did they pull you over for, though?
It was a field sobriety. It was a DUI checkpoint.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
right.
which...
Okay.
I don't even know how that's legal. That's like some Gestapo kind of stuff, in my opinion.
The Supreme Court has ruled they're legal, so they're legal. They basically said there's such a strong, compelling interest.
For like the 1% of DUIs that they actually get?
The dissent of the case says, wait a minute, you're saying the Fourth Amendment doesn't apply just because there's a strong, public interest in stopping a particular crime? I mean, what if there's a strong public interest in stopping drug trafficking? Would we then allow police just go into people's houses? Again, that's the argument from the dissent.
I don't like it.
No, I think you'd like the dissent argument. Just because they think there's something very important does that mean the Fourth Amendment doesn't apply? I see the value in them, but I'm also very uncomfortable with them.
I see where it can be needed, and I also see where they make a ton of money off of people not having up-to-date licenses and registrations and insurance and things like that, where they make a lot more revenue off of that than they do off of the 1 or 2 DUIs that they may not get. If they set up a DUI checkpoint and they make any money off of other things than DUIs, is that any different than the Gestapo asking us for our papers? They're just stopping you to give you fines for things that you haven't paid yet. They're not actually gaining anything of what they set out to do.
Well, I will say that a DUI checkpoint, you probably won't be sent to a concentration camp, so it's a little different from Gestapo.
But they're still stopping you and asking for your papers.
No, I don't like that, though. I mean...
And if it's a DUI checkpoint, and that night they get no DUIs, but they make $20,000 in revenue off of miscellaneous other things.
I'd say as a matter of the Fourth Amendment, I really do not like DUI checkpoints because of the Fourth Amendment principle at play. And I think there's a lot of other better ways to stop DUIs and...
With DUIs, it's definitely a tough situation because you do a checkpoint. Yeah, you can stop some people, but how far away from the first bar do you have to be before it's not entrapment? You know what I mean? Because if you set up a DUI checkpoint across the you set up a DUI checkpoint anywhere Shaco Bottom, or people walking out of a bar.
Well, that's the thing about the city of Richmond. There's so many serious crimes going on that they're not going to put too many resources towards that. A lot of my clients, who do get charged with offenses in the city of Richmond, I'd say to them, don't worry, it's city of Richmond. Mm-hmm. They're just grateful you didn't murder anyone.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Or set a dog on fire, as
dude, don't even get me started. I'm not one to say I believe in torture, but
Hammurabi Code. You do this to the dog. We do it
to an extent, and this I hate using the mob mentality in this, but don't kill the dude. Send him to jail. Even in jail, there's a moral code. No kids, no animals. Even in jail. Yo, let these dudes in jail get at this dude. They'll rip him to pieces. And just look the other way. So, let society deal with itself.
And here's something, though, that's just interesting, as other lawyers have talked about. This dog's got a lot more attention than many humans who've been murdered in Richmond. It's just, again, something else to reflect on.
People care more about animals than they do each other. Period. Yeah, it's plain and simple.
Well, I own 2 cats and a dog, and I think the money that I spend on those animals, I could send it to a charity to feed hungry kids overseas.
You could.
But I have my pets, who I love very much, and pretty soon I'll have to wrap things up so I can let my puppy out.
Yeah, dude, I completely understand, obviously to an extent, but, that case in itself, but here's where I look at it, and definitely in different cases, whether it be the Dallas sniper situation or it be any of these school shootings. The kid shot up a black church, right? He killed how many people? Person that shot up a synagogue killed how many people? Virginia Tech again killed how many people? A lot of people. A lot of people have died. 3 police officers in Dallas got shot, and they sent a drone, to kill a civilian on U.S. soil. Now we've allowed drones to be used to kill civilians in retaliation to either a police officer or a politician, what they consider capital murder. So now in a case of potential capital murder, you're allowed to use a drone to kill U.S. civilians on U.S. soil? Well, you can't take that back now. It's no different than Iraq or Afghanistan at this point.
Well, wait, there's a difference between retaliation versus neutralizing a threat.
Is it neutralizing? Because if this kid that shot up a church and kids that have shot up schools, if they're able to get them and get that under control, and they put a bulletproof vest on them and give them snacks.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah, that Dylan Roof kid that shot up the church in Charleston. Yeah. So they put a bulletproof vest on him, so when they were taking him out of the church, other people, like civilians, wouldn't kill him. And then when they took him to the precinct, they gave him snacks because he was hungry. They gave him snacks But they used a drone to kill a U.S. I could. Once you use a robot to kill a human.
That's why it's better to neutralize a threat while it's still a threat rather than taking them alive.
But if you take them alive, then you can ask them questions.
True.
They could have been a part of a much bigger scheme.
Well, there is value in collecting intelligence if there is any to be had.
Then you can kill them.
And yeah, sure. Well,
or let them die in jail.
Well, after the justice system, which is pretty expensive and slow. And again, maybe
so
the
they were
person gets
their
a death penalty, maybe not.
Own judge, jury, and executioner without gaining any information and using a robot to do so.
If someone is literally shooting at you, you neutralize that threat. Whether you have a gun, you have a knife, or you have a drone. If someone's shooting at you, you neutralize the threat. And I say neutralize the threat because that can mean anything. It could be lethal force. Could be non-lethal. I'm just saying.
But that wasn't.
You make sure that more innocent lives aren't lost.
The
you
issue,
do what it takes.
The big issue in all of that isn't them taking the guy out. It's using a robot to do so.
Does it really matter? How much of a difference does it make if it's an officer holding a gun or someone piloting a drone from a trailer?
Because it's now we have essentially we have allowed drone warfare against U.S. citizens in the U.S.
I wouldn't call that warfare, though. I just say that
you're killing someone using a drone.
Well, soldiers use guns. I mean, if police take out a threat, a hostage situation, SWAT team takes a hostage situation.
That's the SWAT team. But the SWAT team's not using a robot to do that. That's actual people with actual guns actually looking you in the eye.
What if they're saving lives? How much of a difference does it make? I mean, the whole idea of...
that's defense, though.
And the whole idea of when you defend yourself is you want to expose yourself to as little risk as possible while save as many lives as possible.
So then why do we even have...
I mean, a drone is...
Why do we have police officers in general, then? We could just send out robots.
I don't think we're there yet.
So now we're in 1985.
Oh, our robots aren't that good. RoboCop.
Oh, yeah, RoboCop, exactly. Darth Vader. He was more machine than man.
Yeah,
you see how that turned out.
That's really a cyborg, if we're going to be honest about that.
Very true.
And he already turned to the dark side before he became a cyborg. So he's already a bad guy.
Oh, God, there was already a virus in that software.
Oh, yes, the human side of that.
But at the same time, though, there's the whole redemption thing from that, with the whole Darth Vader. Anakin was supposed to bring balance to the Force, and he did. Just a lot of people had to die in the process.
Yeah, that's the thing about going to prophecy. You never know how
you don't know you got to look at that real long game.
I'm thinking about Game of Thrones and prophecy, and oh my God, that last season, that debacle.
I didn't see it. The girlfriend, she saw it. She's a big fan of
very disappointing
the Game of Thrones. That's what I've been hearing.
The first few seasons were incredible. The last few, it's just
Well, didn't they also spend like 2 years making this last season? Yep. And it was only like 8 episodes?
More like 6.
Jesus. Oy vey.
They were long episodes, but I mean, come on. I thought it would be, because they were doing less, so they were really going for the quality over quantity. And as far as it being a theatrical production, it was incredible. But as far as, what's the story? What's the plot? Why do I care about these characters? What is
character development?
I mean, the humor even.
Look at Star Wars. The first Star Wars didn't exactly have this huge budget. But they put so much emphasis on the characters,
and
the character development.
Story. Yeah. You have a young hero, gets a call to action. He meets a wise old mentor. They go on an adventure. They meet up with some other interesting people. What's the goal? You save the princess, just get her out of the castle or the Death Star.
Exactly. When it turns out the guy that's trying to kill your sister, who you don't know is your sister, who's the princess, is actually your dad.
So it's a soap opera as well.
Absolutely. Why do you think
But why do we care about the current Star Wars? We don't.
We don't.
The reason is, they took all their good characters that we love. They're killing them off, replacing with people we don't care about. I don't care about Rey. Why should I care about Rey? Kylo Ren could have been interesting.
Kylo Ren's a bitch.
But
Excuse me. Kylo Ren, he's a bitch. There's nothing intimidating about that kid. Period. There's not that, at least with Darth Vader, there was the mask, there was that voice, there was something
like
to fear.
Kid.
And Kylo Ren, he looks like a kid I would have,
He throws a temper tantrum and just takes out his lightsaber and takes it to a computer drive or something.
Yeah, come on. Dude, you can do better.
You're acting like a toddler having a temper tantrum. Well, versus Darth Vader, he just walks on there.
You piss him off and he's just going to choke you up against a wall.
You just look at
Not
the
even
guy.
Say nothing, just, what were you saying?
Even if he weren't under a helmet, just the way he carried himself, even if there was a face to him throughout it, he'd still be intimidating the way It's not just the way he acted; it's how everyone reacted to him, even his own people. You just knew, just got a vibe.
It's very Machiavelli, better to be feared than loved.
Well, versus Kylo Ren, I think this is a pathetic emo kid.
Well, I also think he's got big shoes to fill,
Oh. Well, I don't envy him for having big shoes to fill, but you can still make it your own role, even if it's not as good. Do you see the recent Aladdin?
I haven't. Is it good?
It is good.
Is it?
Look, it's not. It won't be the things of legend the way with Robin Williams. I do not. With Will Smith having to fill the role of the legendary Robin Williams, I don't envy
You'll
him.
never be able to. Yeah,
But
you can
he
never
made it
make
his
it
own, and he did a good job with it.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters and that's what I was thinking because I talked to my girlfriend about this very topic when we first started talking about all these Disney live action remakes, whether it be Beauty and the Beast or Lion King or Jungle Book. For me, I didn't care for either of the live action Jungle Books that have been done, and I'm a Rudyard Kipling fan. He's a very famous Indian author. He did Rikki Tikki Tavi and
I remember that one about the mongoose.
Yes.
Yeah.
All sorts of other stuff. That's all Rudyard Kipling. Which is a very British name for an Indian guy. But when was it? It was during British rule of India. So I didn't care for a lot of the new live action stuff. And then I was like, oh, God, Aladdin. They're going to take this to Aladdin. And then I was like, shit. Now they got someone they got Will Smith doing Robin Williams as the genie. You can't replace that. Then I was like, I got to look at it this way. He'll never replace it. He can never fill that role. He can never fill those shoes. But I want to see what he does with that character.
The way I look at these, any remake, especially Disney, is it doesn't take away from the magic and wonder of the original. It just gives you a new way to appreciate it if it's good. If it's not good, the original's still as awesome as it always has been.
Absolutely.
So
it's a different take on the same. You already know the story, and from what I've seen, like shot for shot, side by side, looks pretty good.
It was good.
Looks real good.
Now, I just had a dumb grin on my face the whole time there. I was enjoying it. And I walked out. I was thinking, okay, it's pretty forgettable walking out of there, unlike the animated one. But for what it was, it's a pleasant way to spend
You already
a
know
couple
the
hours.
story.
Yeah.
You already know how it goes. It's just, now you got to... It's putting a different filter on the same story.
I'm really looking forward to seeing The Lion King, as is everyone else, when it comes out.
I mean, it's Lion King.
I was disappointed by Beauty and the Beast. I was really looking forward to it, because that is such a magical animated film.
It is. And Emma Watson's so good.
The way they made it their own, but not in a way that I enjoy, and the way they added all this fluff and stuff that was in the original. What's the point of this background and her time in Paris? I don't care.
Yeah, honestly, and I would have liked it if it was a little bit darker. To be honest.
And the way they tried to cover up some plot holes, like how is it that everyone in the village forgets about this giant castle nearby? Again, come on, it's a kid's film. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect sense.
And it's interesting actually. As an adult, I like seeing some of these stories that are a little bit darker. We were talking about Power Rangers earlier.
Oh, the Power Rangers movie remake?
Well, not even that. So right before that remake, there was this dude that made this like 14-minute long movie.
I saw it.
The YouTube
Very
video.
adult, had drugs, nudity,
had drugs, and all
people being
sorts of
decapitated or
and
something.
it was like super real. And it was like the first time I saw James Vanderbeek as anything but Dawson from Dawson's Creek, right? And I'm like, this James Vanderbeek, Power Ranger, what? But it was so well done. And I'd never seen Power Rangers. It was very campy, mixed with Japanese footage as a kid, and then you flip that into something dark and gritty and real. Like, yo, can I get a whole TV series of that, or a movie of that? I would watch the crap out of that.
I was hoping that would take off to something.
No, there were actually a bunch of lawsuits about it. But then they came to a happy actual median, so to speak, where they used bits and pieces of what Guy made in for that little like 14-minute YouTube movie, and actually used it in the feature-length film that they came out with in theaters.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Actually, to see that, like, oh, here's this fan-made film. Yeah, actually, we're gonna use bits and pieces of this for the movie. Like, that's one of those we made it type moments.
That is pretty sweet.
Power Rangers is owned by Jewish guys.
I did not know that.
Chaim Saban.
I just figured Saban. I thought Saban was a Japanese name.
But the Chaim.
I didn't even know the first name. I just saw Saban.
Yeah, Jewish guys.
Cool.
Yeah, Jewish guys. Who would have known? Like Chaim Weitzman.
Hi. Oh, I hear the
Hi,
hi
you
part.
know,
Yeah, okay.
l'chaim.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
So, David, I have a feeling you and I could keep going for
We
hours
could do
on
this for
end.
days, man. We could do this for days.
I have a dog at home.
Yeah,
though.
I got a
need you.
girlfriend at home. We both have duties at home.
Amen to that.
Brother, thank you for
It's
having
been
me
fun.
on. I appreciate it, dude. Guys, it's been fun.